You're watching South Asia Newsline and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 9th of March. PM Modi highlights care economy as future employment engine. Iranian ship docking was the right call, Jaishankar tells Parliament. And from rapper to power, Balendra Shah's party nears two-thirds majority. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has highlighted the importance of developing a care economy, saying the growing number of senior citizens will increase demand for trained caregivers in the coming decade. Speaking at a post-budget webinar titled Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Fulfilling Aspirations of People, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India must prepare its workforce for emerging opportunities in healthcare. He noted that as the country's elderly population grows, the need for professional caregivers will rise sharply both in India and globally. Modi said the expanding healthcare ecosystem could create millions of new skill-based jobs for young people. He urged experts in the health sector to develop new training models and partnerships to strengthen India's caregiver workforce. The Prime Minister also highlighted the role of government initiatives such as Ayushman Bharat, which has expanded access to healthcare services across rural India.
लेकिन एक अहम विषय जिसका मैं जिक्र करना चाहूंगा वो है केयर इकोनॉमी। आने वाले दशक में देश में सीनियर सिटीजन्स की संख्या तेजी से बढ़ेगी। इसके अलावा आज वर्तमान में दुनिया के कई देशों में केयर गिवर्स की भारी मांग है। इसलिए अब हेल्थ सेक्टर में लाखों युवाओं के लिए नई स्किल आधारित रोजगार के नए अवसर तैयार हो रहे हैं।
And India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Monday briefed the Rajya Sabha on the ongoing Iran conflict, stating that allowing Iranian ship to dock was the right thing to do. He informed the upper house that one of the three ships had docked at the southern port of Kochi on March 4 and the crew was currently at Indian naval facilities. Speaking amid sloganeering by opposition members, Jaishankar stated that the Prime Minister continues to closely monitor the emerging developments and relevant ministries are coordinating to ensure effective responses. The briefing comes amid the continuing conflict that began on February 28 after joint US-Israeli strikes targeted Iran, resulting in the death of former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and several other leaders of the ruling establishment. The situation has since escalated, with fresh attacks reported over the weekend.
The Iranian side had requested permission on 28 February for 3 ships in the region to dock at our ports. This was accorded on 1 March. IRIS Lavan actually docked on 4th March in Kochi. The crew is currently in Indian naval facilities. We believe that this was the right thing to do, and the Iranian foreign minister has expressed his country's thanks for this human gesture.
On the sidelines of the United Nations Human Rights Council's 61st session in Geneva, activists and human rights defenders from South Asia raised concerns over growing religious intolerance and the need for stronger protection of minority communities in Pakistan and Bangladesh. A report.
On the sidelines of the United Nations Human Rights Council's 61st session in Geneva, human rights defenders from across South Asia gathered to discuss growing concerns over religious intolerance in the region. The discussion, titled Religious Freedom in South Asia, was organized by Shivi Development Society along with the International Peace and Cooperation Center. They urged international organizations and United Nations bodies to closely monitor developments and encourage stronger protections for religious minorities.
Countries like Pakistan, for example, or Bangladesh, their discrimination is embedded in the law, their law. So what we were sort of debating is how can we sort of learn from each other. The good thing is that the human rights activists who work on this issue, they are still very keen and willing to work with each other.
More than 18 months, when was the Yunus regime in the Bangladesh power, they make a very desperate country in the country. There is a lot of communal violence, assertion, persecution, arson, brutally killing in the minority peoples. We have been very raised voice concern regarding this. So we have to raising the concern in international world, in all of the world, United Nations, Human Rights Commission, UNHCR, others, all international body, to make a recommendation to our new government in the Bangladesh to make the protection of the Bangladesh minority.
Meanwhile, Lara Deludis, a volunteer representing the Holi Trust, a community-based non-profit organization based in Rajasthan, in a separate interview with ANI in Geneva, spoke about the difficulties faced by migrants from minority communities who have relocated from Pakistan to India.
During my stay in Rajasthan, I had the chance to visit Jaisankar and the desert communities, and representing the organization, we were looking for women to sign up for our empowerment centers. And there I had the chance to meet many women who came from Pakistan and many families who had come from Pakistan years ago. And we really saw the way they are living and the situation there. The reason why these people, unfortunately, are leaving their nation, which is Pakistan, is basically because of religious discrimination, which is absolutely intolerable.
The escalating conflict in the Middle East is now hitting Pakistan and Bangladesh. Pakistan has announced a sharp hike in fuel prices, while Bangladesh has introduced fuel rationing as fears grow over disruptions to oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz. We have a report.
Pakistan has raised retail fuel prices by nearly 20%, citing a surge in global oil prices triggered by the conflict in the Middle East. The price hike is already triggering anxiety across the country. Long queues formed outside petrol stations in cities like Lahore and Karachi as drivers rushed to fill their tanks before the new prices took effect. Petroleum Minister Ali Pervez Malik announced a 55 Pakistani rupees increase per litre, pushing petrol prices to more than 321 Pakistani rupees and diesel to nearly 336 Pakistani rupees. Officials say the government had little choice but to pass on the cost of higher international oil prices to consumers. Some fuel stations have reported running dangerously low on supplies.
कीमतों की रद्दोबदल की जो फ्रीक्वेंसी भी है, क्योंकि उसमें बहुत ज्यादा तब्दीली डेली बेसिस के ऊपर आ रही है, उसको भी हम वीकली बिना के ऊपर रिव्यू करेंगे और इस निजाम को आगे चलाते हुए लोगों के लिए ईंधन की फराहमी को यकीनी बनाने की भरपूर कोशिश करेंगे.
The energy shock is also spreading to neighboring Bangladesh, where the government has imposed emergency fuel rationing. Authorities have capped petrol sales at just 2 liters per day for motorcycles and 10 liters for private cars. In the capital Dhaka, long lines of vehicles formed at petrol stations as drivers waited for limited supplies. Officials say the rationing was introduced after panic buying and stockpiling threatened to drain fuel reserves.
কাজ চলে যাবে কিন্তু যেভাবে করে আসলে দীর্ঘ লাইন করে আসলে দাঁড়াতে হয় হ্যাঁ এটার জন্য তো মিনিমাম আধা ঘন্টা সময় চলে যাচ্ছে হ্যাঁ আবার যদি এটা তেল শেষ হয়ে যায় আবার তো সেটা দাঁড়াতে হবে আর কি লাইনে দাঁড়াতে হবে.
Nepal is on the brink of a major political shift. Vote counting in the country's parliamentary elections has entered its final phase. The party led by rapper turned politician Balendra Shah is dominating the results. His Rashtriya Swatantrata Party has secured 2/3 majority in the 275-member House of Representatives. Traditional parties like the Nepali Congress, the CP and UML are trailing far behind. The elections held on March 5 will ultimately fill 275 parliamentary seats, 165 through direct elections and 110 through proportional representation. Meanwhile, supporters flooded the streets of eastern Nepal after Shah won his seat in Jhapa, celebrating what could become one of the most dramatic political rises in the country's history. The 35-year-old first gained prominence as a rapper, criticizing Nepal's political establishment before entering politics.
Now we have finally got the youngest prime minister in the world. Hope we will not forget all his promises and will work on the behalf of people. Wish him good luck. Thank you. We trusted you. Now you should not play with our trust. We love you, Balendra. Okay, bye-bye.
Meanwhile, an investigation into the violent September protest, which left at least 77 people dead, has produced a report exceeding 900 pages. But Nepal's interim Prime Minister Sushila Karki says the government will not release the full findings before leaving office, leaving the next administration to review and implement its recommendations. The Gen Z movement toppled the government of KP Sharma Oli that led to the dissolution of parliament by President Ramchandra Paudel after interim Prime Minister Sushila Karki recommended fresh elections.
यसको परिणाम पायौं परिणाम पाएपछि अब यसको कार्यान्वयनमा त अब हामी त्यो समयसम्म हामी त रहँदैनौं किनभने हामीले अब तुरुन्तै नयाँ सरकारलाई हस्तान्तरण गरेर जानुपर्ने अवस्था भएको हुनाले पछि सरकारले कार्यान्वयनको लागि त्यसको अध्ययन गरेर कार्यान्वयन गर्नेछ भन्ने मलाई चाहिँ विश्वास छ अब अहिलेको हकमा चाहिँ हामी आफू पनि अध्ययन गर्छौं.
Meanwhile, marking the end of Holi, thousands of travelers in central India's Indore city took to the streets on Sunday to celebrate Rang Panchami, a festival observed 5 days after the Hindu festival of colours. The streets came alive with clouds of colour powder, gulal, as people joyfully sprinkled and smeared bright hues on each other, dancing to the beats of music in a massive gathering filled with energy and laughter. It not only marked the conclusion of Holi celebrations, but also symbolized joy, harmony, and the spirit of togetherness. Celebrated at the onset of spring, the festival is linked to the divine love of Lord Krishna, his consort Radha. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.